Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started. We're still, all right. So today we are going to start actually on our back. Um, you can go ahead and put both of your blocks to the top of your space, blanket off to the side, and then you'll just go ahead and lie down on your back. You're welcome. We should say thank you to Roberta because I would have forgotten until we got to that part of the sequence. So let's go ahead. And once you find yourself on your back, you'll find yourself in supta Baddha konasana. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try it unsupported and just see how it is. So soles of the feet touch, knees bent and open wide. And then plant your hands wherever it feels appropriate for you. And what I'd like you to start to tap into is I'd like you to tap into what I'm calling your inner ocean. So you'll feel the rise and the fall of the breath. You'll feel the rise and the fall of the abdomen. You'll maybe even feel the blood pumping through your body, through your heart. And as we start here in Supta Baddha Konasana, you might find that at some point there's just a little bit too much weight of gravity. And if that's the case, you'll start to lightly press into the soles of your feet. So big toes press into each other, pinky toes press into each other, outer and inner heels press into each other. And that just starts to alleviate some of whatever the sensation is you might be feeling. And then you'll take 3 to 5 more steady breaths. And it might help as we start to let this breath be audible. It might help to just let this breath be more internal, but you allow yourself to just tap into your own inner ocean, your own fluidity that exists moment by moment, breath by breath. And then at the end of your next exhalation, go ahead and bring your hands to the outer edges of your thighs. Close your knees together like a book and plant the soles of the feet on the floor, hip distance apart. From here, the hands can still rest on the body if that feels comfortable to you, or let them fall somewhere else. But I'd like you to check in on the back of your body now and notice how the back of the head feels, the backs of the shoulders, the hips, and the soles of the feet. And then at the end of the next exhalation, draw the right knee into your chest and just give yourself a little hug, a little squeeze. And staying here as still as possible. Just really feel that compression of the right thigh into the chest, into the belly. Notice what happened to your breath, what happened to the shoulders, and then start to circle that right ankle, just feeling what this feels like. So one of the things that I miss and that I've been playing with is the fluidity of the ocean. It rises and it falls. And go ahead and change directions if you haven't already. And there's something kind of wonderful and powerful and scary about that all at the same time. And once you've done an equal number both ways, go ahead and come to stillness, switch your hands to the back of your right thigh. And you're going to take 5 to 10 of these. Inhale, lifting your foot up towards the floor or to the ceiling, pointing through the toes. And then exhale, flexing the foot, bending the knee, hugging the thigh to the chest. And you've got 5 to 10 of these, just following your own breath. Exhaling, compressing the leg in, inhaling, sending the foot up, really articulating through the foot all the way, every single time. And you're just noticing what this is doing to the breath. You're noticing what this is doing to the body. We've got about 3 more on your own, just feeling how this feels. A little bit of nerve flossing to start our practice. And then the next time your right leg is straight, you'll go ahead and keep it there. You might flex through your right foot, really pressing through the big toe mound and the inner edge of the heel. And then notice if you can draw that outer right hip away from your right shoulder. Soften any tension around your jaw. And then notice what's happening to your breath now. Nice job. Very gently release your right thigh. So just let go of your right leg, but leave it exactly as it is. Externally rotate the leg. And then bend the knee and stack your right ankle on the top of your left thigh. You might choose to stay here or draw the legs closer towards you, threading your hands through the whole of your legs. And you might grab the back of your left thigh. You might grab the front of your left shin and then flex through one end or both feet and just notice what it feels like to breathe deeply here for about 4 to 5 breaths. And you're really trying to tap in again to your own inner rhythm. Your natural ocean will tell you how long your inhalation needs to be, how long the exhalation can be, and then you'll just see if you can ride that. Not attempting to control or direct it any way, but just listening to it, following to it, or following it. Nice job. At the end of your next exhalation, go ahead and gently release your hands. Bring the left foot to the floor. Release the right foot next to the left and take a moment to pause here. Notice how the back of the head, the back of the shoulders, the back of the hips feel. And then you're going to squinch your toes about one toe foot forward, and then widen your feet about 1 footprint apart. Fantastic. And then from here, let's cross your right thigh completely over your left. Right thigh completely over your left. Yeah. Open your arms out to the side and then let your legs fall to the left. And then we've got a gentle twist here, and you're just going to pause and you're going to breathe and you're going to feel how this feels. And just notice what you're observing happening on this hip. You've just got about 3 or 4 breath cycles here, allowing the spine to gently twist, noticing if you can still follow that wave of the breath. On your next in-breath, you'll gently come back up through center. Uncross the legs and plant both feet on the floor. You'll re-walk your feet so they're hip distance apart and about 1 handprint away from your tuchus, and you'll just notice how this feels to feel the back of the head, the back of the shoulders, the back of the hips. At the end of your next exhalation, gently draw your left knee into your chest, and again, just hold it there in stillness, feeling that compression against a thigh against belly, belly against thigh. And then you'll start to circle just the left ankle. And again, you're just paying attention to the breath. What are its natural ebbs and flows? How does it raise and how does it drop? And after you've gone one direction, please switch directions. And again, stay with your breath. How does it feel? How fluid is it, or can it be, if you just simply get out of the way and get into the role of observer? Nice job. When you feel complete between both sides, go ahead and come to stillness. Bring the hands to the back of your left thigh. Julie, press into your right foot a little bit more. Yep. And then inhale, start to send your left foot up towards the sky, maybe pointing through the toes at the top. And then exhale, flexing the foot, bending the knees, compressing it in. And again, you've got 5 to 10 of these on this side. So you're really just following your own breath. We're flossing the back chain of body, specifically the nerves. And you're just noticing what this feels like, flexing and pointing the foot, finding the full articulation through that back chain, and just noticing how slow or how fast your breath happens to be, allowing the full pattern to take place. Nice job. And you've got about 3 more on your own. Yeah. And then we'll say the next time that left leg goes up towards the sky, you'll go ahead and stay there. Flex through the left foot, press up through the big toe mound, the inner edge of the heel. Yeah. And then you just pause and you breathe. And then you notice, are you holding on to that left leg for dear life? Or can you soften your shoulders a little bit? And sometimes it helps to slide your hands either up or down, depending upon the length of your arms. You just pause and you breathe. Draw the outer left hip away from your left shoulder a little more. Yep. And then at the end of your next exhale, release your hands, keep the leg as it is, turn the leg out, so externally rotate it, and then bend the knee, planting the left ankle on the top of the right thigh. Option to stay right here, pressing left ankle into right knee, or you'll draw the legs towards your chest, thread your hands through the whole of your legs, and maybe grab back of thigh or front of shin. And again, you've got about 4 to 5 breaths. And I invite you to really honor and listen to your breath. A shape like this feels like it invites a deeper breath. The sensation that you might be experiencing in that outer left hip might also welcome a deeper breath. And you're just noticing, how can you respond and trust the waves of your breath, the waves of your life as it happens to go, the waves of this moment. At the end of your next exhalation, gently release your hands, draw the right foot to the floor. Go ahead and plant the left foot next to the right. And then you'll crawl your toes, one toe print forward. You'll crawl your feet a little further out. And then you'll cross your left leg over your right thigh. Arms open out to the sides. And then let your legs cascade over to the right. And then you just take a moment to pause. Is that left shoulder wanting to inch away from the floor? Is it wanting to drop towards the floor? Does it feel like you want to rotate your right low belly towards the left? How can you still keep breathing deeply into the low back where the body is twisting? Nice work. Got one more breath cycle here. And then at the end of your next exhalation, you'll inhale and come back up through center, uncross your legs, and let your feet be hip distance apart. Now check in once again. How's the back of your head? How's the back of your shoulders, the back of your hips, the back of your legs? Sometimes opening up the legs allows the shoulder blades to rest a little bit more easily on the back and the heart to be a little bit more open. Fantastic. Now from here, just as a momentary check, draw your left knee into your chest. Hold on to that leg. Extend your right leg long along the floor. As you flex through that right foot, see if you can press the right heel down, reach your right calf down, your right hamstring down, and then see if you can press your left hip down a little bit more, the back of your head, the back of your shoulders, imagining we're standing tall on that right leg. Nice work. At the end of your next exhale, gently bend the right knee, plant the right foot on the floor. Gently release the left leg. Take a moment to check in. How's the back of the body? How are you riding the waves of your breath? And then at the end of your next exhale, you'll draw your right knee into your chest. You'll hold on to the leg. And then you'll flex through your left foot, sliding it forward along the floor. And then again, flex through that foot, press down into the heel, the back of the calf, the back of the leg. And then check it with your right hip. Can you root that a little bit more to the floor as you press the backs of the shoulders, back of the head into the floor, and just observe and imagine that you are standing on that left leg. Nice work. All right. At the end of your next exhalation, let's go ahead and bend your left knee, plant the foot on the floor, release your right leg. Now you can hug both knees into your chest and choose what works for you. Some of you will rock a little bit right to left and feel how that feels on your low back. Some of you will choose to rock front to back. And then whichever option you're doing, if you're rocking right to left, you're going to roll over to one side and turn around and sit up. If you're rocking front to back, you might also roll over to a side, or you might rock and roll forward and back to come to sit up. Yeah, fantastic. And then once you're up, you're going to turn around and make your way to downward facing dog. Now, sorry, I shouldn't say turn around. You're going to plant your hands and make your way to downward facing dog. You're like, why do you want me to put your butt to my face or my butt to your face? You were following directions, Jill, and I saw your face. I was like, I just said that. Let's not do that. Now, the thing I want you to notice once you find yourself in this first down dog is how much easier does this feel right now than it normally does? And you're just paying attention to that. And I want you to really press down into your hands and imagine that the heels of your hands slide up your arms, up your armpits, up your belly, up to your hips, and make that one long line. Yeah. And then let's just bend one of our knees. So let's all choose a leg that we want to bend, and you'll just bend one knee and then reach the opposite heel towards the floor as best as you can, the inner and the outer edge of that foot, and just notice what that does to the backs of the hamstrings and the calf. And you'll just breathe there for a couple breath cycles, really experiencing that for yourself. And then when you're ready, you'll bend both knees and you'll ride the wave to the other side. So you'll bend the opposite knee. And then the leg that is straight, see if you can really reach that inner and that outer heel to the floor equally so that the crease in the front of your ankle is as equal as it can be. And then when you feel okay with that, you'll bend both knees. From here, turn your tuchus up towards the sky. Yeah, press your hands down and forward. And then from here, you're going to bend your knees even more and start to crawl your hands back to your feet. Crawl your hands back to your feet. Crawl your hands back to your feet. And then once we find ourselves at the back of our space, you can keep your knees as bent as you need to. Your head is cascading to the floor. Some of you will grab opposite elbows. Some of you will keep your hands on the floor. But what I want you to pay attention to is how is the inner and the outer edge of your heel connecting to the floor? Do you feel it more on the outside edge or more on the inside edge? And how do you find symmetry between them? And then notice, is your weight more towards your heels or more towards your toes? And then see how you can make some adjustments there. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. And again, you're paying attention to the weight on the inside and the outside edge of the foot. And then very gently, we're going to start to release our hands back to the floor. And you're going to crawl yourselves forward back to your version of downward facing dog, whatever that's going to look like for today. And when you're in your downward facing dog, just explore and feel how your heels feel now. Yeah, that's fantastic. How's the breath? Are you still riding your own waves? Trusting your own inner ocean, the own fluidity, your natural life force? Fantastic. Let's go ahead and inhale and come forward into plank pose, everyone's favorite pose, fallen kasana. Fantastic. Now, once we're here, the first thing I want you to do is we're all going to push down into our hands and lift up through our inner armpits. Yeah. Slide your tailbone back towards your heels and lightly squeeze your glutes. Now lift the back of your head just a smidge. Yep. And then we're going to stay here. Some of us will stay here happy as a clam. We're going to then spin our heels towards the right. Both heels go to the right. Keep pushing down into both hands, and you're toning your obliques to stay here. Keep lifting your outer right hip up. Yeah, and then go ahead and inhale, come back through center, and then spin your heels towards the left. Lift your under hip up as much as you can. Push down into the right hand. Hello, obliques. Yep, we got you. Inhale, go ahead and come back through center and pause here for 3 breaths. Knees down is perfectly wonderful. So is forearms down. And you just breathe for 3. Keep lifting the back of your head. Yep. Haha. Yeah, there you go. Next exhale, shift your weight forward and lower all the way down to the floor. Fantastic. Once you're there, let's go ahead and extend the tops of the feet to the floor. Notice how the waves of your breath have recently changed and see if you can just be with them however they are. Hold your hands on your hips like you're doing Superman pose. Hands on your hips. I don't know if that's called Superman pose, but your hands are on your hips, thumbs are facing forward. Or rather, thumbs are facing back, fingertips are facing forward. And then I want you to pull your hips back as you pull your heart forward. And then you might draw your shoulder blades onto the back of your back and lift the back of your head. And again, you're still pushing, or rather pulling your hips back, and then start to extend out through your toes and reach your toes so far back that they start to float up off the floor too. Yeah, and maybe the whole legs. And then you still pull your hips back, you pull your heart forward, you reach your toes back, you squeeze the shoulder blades, there you go, on your back body, and you breathe for 3. How are you riding the waves of your breath for 2? Trusting the ocean for 1. Next exhale, lower all the way down. Yeah, nice work. Go ahead and plant your hands alongside your lowest ribs. Push down into hands, push down into knees, scoop the belly up and come into hands and knees pose. Curl both sets of toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. And then you just pause and you breathe. In down dog, pausing and breathing and seeing how you feel now. Gently bend your knees. Start to crawl your hands back towards your feet. Now this time when you get to the back of your space, again, check in, make sure your feet are about hip distance apart. And we're gonna ride the wave a little bit more. So we'll go ahead and inhale, slide our hands up our shins, reach our heart and sternum forward, halfway lift. And then exhale, slide the hands down, fold all the way back in. And we'll do that one more time. So inhaling, sliding the hands up, reaching the heart forward, sending your pubic bone back. And exhaling, folding all the way in. This time you're gonna inhale, bend your knees and roll up your spine. And I want you to take somewhere between 5 to 10 breaths, going bone by bone by bone, vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. Your head is the very last thing to come up, and you're just following your breath. 5 to 10 breaths, doing a Susan Klein roll up. And you take your time. And when you get to the top of your space, you're just going to stand there and breathe. And I want you to, again, press into the big toe and the outer edge of your foot. And then from here, we'll go ahead and inhale, sweep our arms out and up and overhead. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Really root into your left leg. Inhale, reach up. And I want you to reach up so far that you have no choice but to carve towards the right. And then see if you can draw your outer left hip forward, your outer right hip back, and just find length along your whole left side body. Draw your right shoulder forward just a smidge. There you go. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, switch hands. Inhale, find the length, and you're going to carve all the way up before you go over towards the left. And again, your outer right hip goes back. Your outer left shoulder comes forward, and you're rooting into your right foot a lot. Nice job. Next inhalation, go ahead and come back up to center. As you exhale, arms open out, and you're going to bring your hands to your hips. So this is going to feel weird, but your thumbs are going to point towards your pubic bone. And I want you to pull back and wide as you hinge forward. So you're really pulling your hips back and wide. And then once you're down there, you might still keep your hands on your hips, really pushing the thigh bones back into your hip sockets. You might choose to let your hands drop down to the floor and grab opposite elbow. It totally just depends on you. Like, I kind of like this sensation. It's a fun little compression in the hips and elongation through my spine. So if that's what you're finding there, happy days, you stay there, but just let your head be heavy, finding your breath and seeing how that's going. And then very gently, if you've got your hands still at your hips, go ahead and release your hands down to the floor. Start to crawl yourselves forward back into downward facing dog. And just notice how this feels now. Tick your tuchus up towards the sky, pressing the hands down and forward. And then noticing how your head can be a part of this. So finding the elongation through the neck, through the back of the head. Nice job. Let's move on. Inhale, come forward into plank. Great. Now this time, I want you to push down through the hands, lift up through the belly, lift up through the hips. Slide both heels to the left this time. Keeping our feet hip distance apart, you might stay there. You might reach your right arm up towards the sky. And you'll just take a moment to pause and breathe, outer hip lifting. Nice job. The end of your next exhale, the hand comes back to the floor, both toes come back to the floor, and you pause and you breathe. And then we slide our heels towards the right. You might stay there. You'll push down into your right hand, lift the left arm up if you'd like, and you pause and you breathe. Oh, nice modification, Joe. And then as you're ready, the hand comes back down. Draw the low belly in 3 breath cycles here. 3 steady breaths, and you just pause and you breathe in your little planky do. Knees down is okay. At the end of your next exhalation, you'll inhale, shift your weight forward, and then lower all the way down. Everything touching at the same time. Nice work. Now from here, you just take a moment to pause. How's the breath? How are you riding your breath? What are the thoughts that are coming up? And can you just allow yourself to stay with the sensation, trusting that this is all leading us somewhere? Fantastic. Let's go ahead and extend the tops of the toes to the floor. Bring your hands alongside your lowest ribs. Now, I want you to imagine that you're still pulling your hips back like you had before. So you find that length through the low back, and then reach your heart and sternum forward. Push down lightly through your hands, and then hug the shoulder blades on your back. Now press down into your pinky toes and see if you can reach them down and back as you pull your heart forward and through. And you can come as high as you want into your cobra. And you're really pulling the heart forward. You're really reaching the toes back. Yeah, there you go. Nice job, guys. And you're just finding the breath. Next exhale, you'll reach the heart forward to come back down to the floor. Okay, curl both sets of toes under. Your choice. You'll slide your hands forward just a little bit. There we go. Your choice. You can push down through hands and knees and come to hands and knees. Push through hands and knees to come to hands and knees, or come to plank pose. Yep. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Yeah, and then you just pause and you breathe and you notice how this feels now. One of the things I was learning when I was learning to swim in the ocean is that the ocean is so much bigger than I am. And sometimes that just is really symbolic of life. There's so many aspects of life that are so much bigger than we are. And because we can't always see to the depth of them, we can't always see to where they'll lead us, it can cause a lot of fear and anxiety. But if we trust the wave, as Ruth, this cute little Irish lady, was telling us, it makes it a lot easier. All right, let's move on. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. As you exhale, draw your right knee to your nose, and then plant your right foot between your hands. Now, this is the time where I would encourage everybody to take your blanket. Well, I was going to say blocks, but blanket is more important. So take your blanket and pad your back knee. So that should be our left knee. And then you can bring your hands to the blocks since they are at the top of your space if you'd like. And you can just stay right here, reaching your heart forward, really finding a stretch across the front of your left thigh. Some of us are going to start to walk our hands up to the belly of our right thigh. And we'll just take a moment to pause here. If you are here, I want you to squeeze your back butt cheek, lengthen your tailbone down and a little bit forward, and that changes the sensation happening here. And if you're good, you stay there. Notice if you're breathing. Yeah, that's overrated, completely overrated. Some of you will stay right here. Some of you will reach your left arm forward, and then you'll reach it forward and up. And again, you might stay here, and that'll be enough sensation happening on your left side. You might reach up even more and start to carve towards the right. And I know that when I've been doing this week, on one side, it's crazy how there's a lot more sensation down into my hip than there is on the other. And you just notice what's happening for you. We're mostly going up and then maybe going to the right. You're pushing into your right foot for dear life. You're squeezing your left butt cheek to find a nice stretch. Ooh, there we go. Across your left thigh. And then when you're ready, you notice if we're breathing, and we'll inhale, come back up. Exhale, both hands come down to the floor. Curl the back toes under if they're not. Straighten the back leg long and step yourself back to downward facing dog. And you just notice what that feels like. Calm, steady, smooth breaths. Trusting the wave, trusting that no matter what happens, like the Ocean Spray commercial, you can ride that wave. You got it. Let's try the other side. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. As you exhale, draw the left knee to the nose, plant the foot between your hands, and then lower the back knee down to that support beneath you. Hands might then come to your blocks, and you might just curl your heart forward and through, and happy days, you stay there. You might crawl your hands up to the belly of your left thigh, and we'll just stay there. Now, if we're here again, pushing down into left foot, pushing down into right knee, lengthening tailbone down, a little tuck, or rather little squeeze of the right glute. And you might stay there. You might reach your right arm forward. Check in with your left shoulder. Yep. And you can stay here. Oh, yeah, this is the side. And this might be enough sensation just right here. You might reach up and go over towards the left, but you're just, oh, you are breathing. You are breathing. You are breathing. You're noticing if you're tensing anything unnecessarily. Oh, yeah. So those at home, Sandy said, it's good to know that sometimes these things hurt me too. All right, next inhale, go ahead and come up to center. And then exhale, lower the hands down to the floor. Curl the back toes under if they're not. Listen very closely. You might need to bend your back knee, shift your butt back, and then pounce to the top of your space. That sounds like really weird, but it like gives yourself momentum. So now we're at the top of our space, and this is going to be fun. Let's go ahead and inhale and halfway lift, sliding our hands up our shins. I know it is suspicious. And then exhale, fold it. Keep your fingertips on the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, let's bend our knees. Maybe hands are on blocks, maybe they're not. From here, you're going to draw your hands to your heart center. Push your thumbs into your sternum into your thumbs. Sit your butt a little lower. Now inhale, bring your head up. Exhale, sit your butt a little lower. Inhale, come up. And exhale, lower. You are bobbing in the ocean. Look at us go. Yes, we are. We all need a little bit of Carmen. Sorry. And Robin, most of the sequence was inspired by you last week saying your hip hurts. So not your fault this time. Okay. So next exhale, you go down, shift your weight to your left leg. Inhale, the right leg comes with you. Take a few breaths. Oh, look. Oh, I forgot. Did I make you guys do this before? No, I haven't. I was going to make you do that. Oh, well, okay. Put your foot down. Exhale, sit low. And we got these again. Inhale, come up a little bit. And exhale, low. More reps. Yeah, I forgot. It's supposed to make you do that after the side bend. Oh, well, we're getting them in now. And I want you to notice how your feet are playing into this. Sometimes we grip our toes. Sometimes we roll to the outer edge of the foot. All right. Next inhale, you'll shift your weight to the right leg. The left leg comes up with you. Yeah, we got it. And just like we were on the floor at the beginning of class, back of head, back of foot, root down into that foot. Nice work. Okay. Go ahead and plant the foot. Exhale. Last 3. Oh, yes, we are strengthening our glutes as we do a lot of sitting. All right. Go ahead and stand tall. Lengthen the tailbone down. Release the hands. Soften the gaze. Close the eyes and just take a moment. How do you ride your wave? For me, like when I was learning to swim in the ocean, I swam back to the ladder quite a bit. This is your ladder. It's your ability to just be still, to see how the water is moving. Let yourself trust that you will be okay. All right, let's bring our hands back to our hips again. So thumbs face in, and you're gonna pull your hips back and wide as you reach your heart forward and down. And again, you can really push your thumbs into your thigh bones, into your thighs, and let your head drop. Yeah, and just feel that opening. That's fantastic. And then check in. How's the breath? How's the weight in your feet? We'll gently release our hands down to the floor. Go ahead and inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step back to downward facing dog. And you just pause for a bit in down dog and see how that feels. Nice work. On your next in-breath, come forward into plank pose, fallen konasana. Yay, buddy people. Now lift your low belly up. Yep. Slide both heels this time over to the right. Fantastic. You can keep your feet as they are or stack your left foot on top of the right. Lift your outer hip up, push down into your right hand, and maybe float your left arm up. Yep. And putting forearms down is okay. Putting knee down is okay. Yeah, you're riding your wave. So then as you're ready, we'll gently lower the left hand back down. Both feet come back to the floor. And then choosing to go to the other side. So sliding your heels to the left, you might keep the feet as they are. You might stack your right foot on top of the left. You might then reach your right arm up. You're lifting your outer hip up, and we're breathing for 3. We're breathing for 2. We're breathing for 1. Right hand comes to the floor. Come back to plank pose, 2 breath cycles here. And then when you're ready, you'll inhale and shift your weight forward. And exhale, way down to the belly. I know, don't I sound British when I do that? I'm sure some Brit would be like, that's atrocious. We don't sound like that. I'm like, no, you don't. Okay. Now this time you get to choose. Do you want your hands on the floor? Do you want your hands on your hips? We're going to come into a back bend of your choice. So we've done two. You choose which one works better for you. So either hands on hips coming into that locus, or you put your hands on the floor. But you'll slowly ride your breath into that. And you just trust that whatever is happening is perfectly okay. And you breathe for 3. Yeah. You breathe for 2. Wow, that's interesting. You all chose the same thing. You breathe for 1. Next exhale, gently lower all the way down. Fantastic. Take a moment, find the wave. And then when you're ready, you'll plant your hands alongside your low ribs. You'll curl your toes under. As you inhale, you either inhale to hands and knees or you come through plank pose, fallen konasana, and then back to downward facing dog. And then you just pause and you breathe. Pause and breathe. How's the wave? How's the breath? How are you? Most of the time, what I was learning about it was it gave me more permission to trust and to be myself. What are we doing? Oh, agua. The water. You need the water. All right. Let's move on. From down dog, go ahead and inhale. Sweep your left leg up and back. As you exhale, bend the knee, open and stack the hip, and just feel what this feels like. How are your shoulders doing? Keep pushing into your right shoulder even more. There you go. So that your shoulders stay square. So push it. There we go. On your next exhalation, draw your knee to your nose. Fantastic. Put the foot down between your hands. And then if hands need to come to blocks, hands come to blocks to bring the floor closer to you. So that is an option. And then you might step your right foot a little bit to the right. Right foot, back foot. There we go. Now from here, you're gonna push into your left foot, that's the front foot. Right foot, that's the back foot. Squeeze those points together and start to make your chest a little bit lighter until your head comes up to vertical. Oh yeah. Fantastic. And just because we're up, let's put our hands on our hips. And I want you to see if you can draw that outer right hip forward, outer left hip back, and push into that back foot a little bit more. Cool. Now, this is going to be the hard part. We're going to go ahead and inhale and reach arms up and overhead. Now, here's the hard part. I should have said this better. As you exhale, you're going to cactus the arms down to your hips. You're going to bend the back knee and let it hover an inch above the floor. And then inhale, come back up. About 5 of these. Are you okay there? We got some. So we're okay. We're riding the wave. What happened? Oh, I like that. So Jill said, "Ooh, her knee is cracking." So it's a celebration, like Rice Krispies or something. Sorry. Okay. The next time you're down, we're going to pause. You're going to push down into your front foot, push down into your back foot, drop your tailbone down and breathe for 3, and breathe for 2, and breathe for 1. Jazz hands. And then straighten your back leg. Inhale, reach your arms up. I know that front leg is talking quite a bit. For 3, for 2. We're riding the waves for 1. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Happy days. You pause, you breathe, you rest. Yes, and as Erica pointed out, there is another side. Thanks, Erica. Oh, man. All right. And then as we're ready, we will try the other side. So inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. As you exhale, bend and open that knee and find your dog at a hydrant. And as your dog on the hydrant, find length on your left side. Oh, yeah. And then on your next exhale, draw your knee to your chest. Plant your foot between your hands. Maybe hands come to the blocks. Fantastic. Sorry, Jill. And then from here, you're going to push down into your right foot. You might step your left foot a little bit to the left. It just gives me a wider base, which is fun. And then you're going to push into both feet, suck them together to make your chest lighter. And then you find yourself up to vertical. Yeah. Hands come to our hips. And we're going to push into right foot. Hug outer left hip forward and keep that left leg long and active. Cool. When you're ready, inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. And then we'll exhale, bend the arms, bend the knee. And I said 5, but how many did we actually do on the first side? Okay, so you're doing however many you did on the other side. I said 5, but I clearly wasn't counting. I know, it's really bad. Rarely, I know. Okay, that's true. The counting is not always consistent. So how many more do we have? This is 7. Okay, so we're gonna stay down then. And you're gonna breathe here for a little bit. Drop the tailbone down, squeeze your back hip. Imagine you're pushing into an invisible wall. And maybe jazz hands if that makes it a little easier for you. Next inhale, straighten the back leg, reach the arms up. For 3, maybe lift the heart. For 2, maybe lift the gaze. For 1, exhale, hands come down to the floor. Fantastic. Listen closely. Bend your back knee, shift your weight back, shift your butt forward, step the foot forward. Yeah. Jelly legs indeed. And then once you find yourself at the top of your space, take a moment to have the feet hip distance apart and notice what that feels like. All right. And when you're ready, we'll go ahead and inhale, halfway lift. You'll exhale and you'll fold all the way in. Inhale, bend your knees. Sit your butt low, reach your heart forward. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. Fantastic. We're just going to do 3 little bobbles. So you'll inhale, come up a little bit, exhale down. I think I need to adjust the temperature a little bit. Exhale down. Last one. Okay, this time you're going to shift your weight to the right leg, left leg floats up, flexing through that foot. Now you're going to externally rotate that leg, cross the ankle over, and then exhale, you bend the supporting leg. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bend the supporting leg. And we're inching our way down to our elbows being on our left knee. Maybe inching our way down to have our hands towards the block, but you're riding the waves, the ups and the downs. And then when you feel like you've gotten to your depth, you stay and you breathe. And maybe hands are on blocks, hands are on floors, or hands stay at heart center. But you just pause and you breathe. Nice work. Next inhale, let's gently come all the way out. Float the left leg up. Release the left leg down. You might shake that out because we do have the other side to do. Okay. And then as we're ready, we're going to try the other side. So go ahead and inhale and exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale here. Okay. Exhale, bend your knee. Inhale. Yeah, I pee a lot too. It's really fun. Okay, this should be our 3rd one. So go ahead and shift your weight down to your left leg. The right leg will float up. Flex through that right foot, then externally rotate the leg, and then exhale, bending the left knee. Inhale, bobbling a little bit. Exhale down. Inhale up. And you just take this until you feel like you're at your depth where you want to stay and breathe. And you might stay with hands being at heart center. You might have your elbows touch your knees. You might bring your hands down to floor or blocks if that's working for you or if it's not, but you just pause and you breathe. And if your hands are on the floor, you might press your foot into your arm or hook it around the opposite arm to intensify the stretch. And I'm on the wrong leg. Oops. And then we'll gently come out of this. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, planting it down. Go ahead and release the hands, soften and close the gaze, and wiggle around in any way that feels appropriate for you while I take some water. And you just notice your waves. You notice the breath. You notice the thoughts that come up. And what happens if you just stay with it? It's easier after you're done, right? There's a sense of satisfaction. You're like, yeah, I did that. Or maybe it's just me. Okay, cool. We ready to move on, or are we done? Yeah, everything all again. I'm kidding, no. Okay, so last little thing, hands on our hips. standing at the top of your space. This time I want you to pull the hands back and reach the heart forward. And you're going to do the most dramatic swan dive ever as you push your thighs back and let the head be the last thing to ripple towards the floor. Isn't that dramatic and pretty? Okay. And then you might choose to stay there. Might be fun, happy little exercise. Fantastic. Gently release the hands down to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. This time as you exhale, let's go ahead and just slide our right foot long and back for a low lunge. Right foot long and back for a low lunge. Fantastic. Then you're going to turn your left toes to the right, your right toes to the right. So now you're facing the right side of your mat. And separating your feet, I don't know, about 3 feet apart. And then if you need to, walking your left foot forward so it can be parallel to your right. Okay. No more in a lunge, nope. And now you're going to bend your back knee. So for most of us, that should be our right knee. And you're going to send your butt cheek back to the person behind you or the wall behind you, and maybe reach your heart forward and maybe walk your hands forward. So you've got like this down dog, Skandasana lunge looking thing going on. And the more you can press down into your pinky toe edge of your front foot, so I guess that's now your left foot, you'll find a fun thing happening on the inside edge of your left leg. And by fun, I mean, oh, it could be really intense. And so you want to make sure you're breathing. How are the waves of your ocean moving? Waves of your breath. Fantastic, guys and gals. All right. On your next in-breath, go ahead and straighten that right leg. And we might just hold forward here for a little bit in Prasarita Padottanasana. You can take whichever variation works for you. So you might grab your ankles. You might have your hands underneath your shoulders. You might walk your hands back between your legs, walk your hands forward, lower your forearms down. You do whatever the heck works for you, but you're paying attention to how the breath is moving and how you're responding to that movement. All right. We got one more breath cycle here, long, steady, fluid movement. And you guys are going to hate me for this one, but here we go. Let's walk our hands underneath our shoulders. We're going to go and walk our hands directly underneath our shoulders. Bend your knees as much as you need to in order to draw your spine parallel to the floor. So happy little football players, our butt is sticking back. Now bring your right hand to your right hip. Fantastic. Yep. Now bring your left hand to your left hip. Pull your shoulder blade on your back and reach your heart forward. Yep. And then inhale, come all the way up to center or up to standing. If you're dizzy at all, drop your chin to your chest. Drop your chin to your chest if you're dizzy at all. And again, you're pulling your hands down, and that allows you to lift your spine up. And then from here, you're going to turn your toes out, your heels in, however that works for you. So both toes turn out, both heels turn in. Both toes turn out. There we go. Second position ballet. Yep. And we're going to inhale here, and then you're going to exhale, bend your knees. Of course we are. And then we're going to inhale and come up. And exhale. Of course we are. Of course we are. Okay, we've got about 5 of these. And of course, we know I'm not counting, so I hope you are. This is 4. Thank you, Erica. I guess this will be our last one. Okay, we'll go ahead and stay down when you're down. Now, you might slide your hands to your thighs and lock out your arms. And then you might take a little twist, maybe drawing your right shoulder towards your left inner thigh, leg, knee thing. And then you might come back through center and then go the other way. Oh. And you've got about 4 to 5 more breaths here. So you choose if you want to just go to a side and hang out, or if you want to oscillate between the sides. But you're just feeling how that feels. All right. And then once you're balanced between the sides, go ahead and inhale, come to center. See if you can stay in the depth in your legs and draw your hands to heart center. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, stand up tall. Oh yeah, turn your legs parallel towards one another. And then whatever way you want to, you're gonna step to the top of your space. All right, turn to face the top of your mat. We got to do all that again. So again, hands come onto our thumbs. Hands come onto our thumbs. Hands come onto your thighs. You pull your thighs back, you reach your heart forward, and then you dramatically swan dive towards the top of your space, letting the head be the last thing to cascade towards the floor. Isn't that pretty? All right. And then once you're down, slide your hands to the floor. 4 blocks. Yep. And then inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, bend your knees. Slide your left leg long and back, low lunge. And then you're going to pivot your toes and everything to face the left side of your space. Walk your feet so they are parallel to each other. Yeah, and keep all the weight in your feet. So sometimes it can shift back, and then you're going to bend your back knee. So in this instance, that'll be your left leg. You're going to press down on the knife edge. There we go. Knife edge of your right foot, and send your tuchus back to the person or wall behind you. Maybe there you go, Joe. Walk your hands forward and just find this fun stretch happening on the inside edge of your front leg. And the more, you can press down onto the pinky toe edge side of your right foot. Your inner right adductors say hello, body. And then you ride the waves of your breath. Nice work. As you're ready, let's go ahead and straighten both legs. And then take Prasarita Padottanasana, whatever variation you'd like to take. So maybe you do the exact same thing you did on the first side. Maybe you choose to do something drastically different. Oh, hi, Alexa. Or, no, Alexia. I think that's her name, Alexa. Oh, she's so cute. She's got these little barrettes or something in her hair. All right. We got 3 more breath cycles here. And just notice, what is that thing that may cause you a little bit of trepidation at times? But if you can just kind of fall into its rhythm, it starts to allow you to explore and reveal a new part of you that you didn't know and a new part of it that you did not know. All right, we're going to gently start to come out of this. So let's bring our hands underneath our shoulders. Fantastic. Go ahead and bend your knees enough to bring your spine parallel-ish to the floor. Now this time you're going to push down, draw your left hand to your left hip, and then draw your right hand to your right hip. Squeeze your shoulder blades on your back, lift the back of your head, and then inhale, there you go. Come all the way up to vertical. If you're dizzy at all, your chin drops to your chest, and you just take a few breath cycles there, letting your nervous system catch up. And then when you feel like you are ready to move on, the head will come back to vertical, the toes will turn out, the heels will turn in. We're going to pop the squat once again. I know. All right, and then once we're here this time, let's make sure our toes are directly underneath our knees. Knees are in line with our toes. This time, our hands will come to heart center, and our legs are going to stay still, but our arms are going to move. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, come down. And this one, we're really only going to do 3. So you guys have to hold me to that, okay? And 3. All right, last one, hold for 3, for 2, for 1. Inhale, exhale, straighten the leg. Turn both feet parallel. Step or hop, top of space. And then turn to face the top of your mat. All right, very last thing, however you want to. So you might circle sweep the arms up. You might take your hands on your thighs. You're going to fold forward, so whatever you want. Inhale up, and then exhale, fold in. Uttanasana, forward fold. Once you find yourself there, inhale, you'll halfway lift. You find your breath. And then you exhale and make your way to your downward facing dog. From your down dog, you might choose to take, you do, one final round of up dog and down dog. And then we'll all meet in child's pose for 3 breaths. And you just notice. You just notice. How is the breath moving through your body right now? How is your prana, your vitality, your life force? I think so many things can happen to us that can cause us to cut off our prana, our vitality, our life force, because we want to try to control or direct it. But what if we allowed ourselves permission to trust its flow, to trust that it was in sync with our flow? How would that change our experience of things? All right, those in child's pose will start to bring ourselves out of the shape, coming up to sit. And last few things, we'll go ahead and slide our legs forward in front of us. And once your legs are straight, if you find that your low back rounds at all, you sit on your blanket. If you find that sitting in Dandasana is like a piece of cake, you can sit on the floor. And then you're just going to bring your hands back behind you. We've been talking about water and waves. We're going to pretend we're at the beach. The sun is kissing your face, and maybe your legs are just wiggling in and out as you hear the seagulls coming and you feel that nice breeze, and you're just having a good time. All right. And then we're going to do a little bit more active work. So I want you to push down into your hands. I want you to draw your shoulder blades together in your back and puff your heart forward. And again, really take in that sunshine. Nice, full waves. And just feel how that feels. All right, and then gently release that. Let's go ahead and bend our right leg, cross our left ankle over the top of our right thigh. You might walk your right foot forward, or you might walk your butt towards your foot, whatever's going to choose to be good for you. But again, you push the hands down, you hug the shoulder blades together. The heart is kissing the sun, the face is kissing the sun. You're pressing your left ankle against the top of your right thigh. You're just pausing and you're breathing, maybe grimacing a little bit. It comes with what? Yes, the grimace comes with the breath. Okay. And then if you slid your butt forward, slide your butt back, gently come out of that, plant both feet on the floor again. Just take a moment to relax and see how that feels. Oh, and then we'll try the other side. So now your right ankle will cross over your left thigh. You might slide your left foot towards you. You might slide your butt towards your foot. But you just take the opportunity to press the hands down and back. The shoulder blades come together on the back. The heart kisses the sun. And you just pause and you breathe. Yeah. And then very gently, oh, she's crawling now too. That's fantastic. You're going to gently come out of this, slide your butt back, release the legs. And then people in person, you'll turn around and make your way onto the back. People at home, you can also turn around and make your way onto your back. But when you find yourself on your back, we've been spending this whole time trying to get in touch with our own inner waves, our own inner fluidity. So I want you to notice once you get down to your back, if there's anything else you might like to do, like some supine twists might feel really freaking awesome once you get there. You might want to do a happy baby or a gentle, what's it called? Set to bandha, so bridge pose, supported or un. But you just allow yourself to trust that intuition, that impulse that you're having, and you just follow it, see where it leads you. And you've got about a minute or so doing whatever the heck feels appropriate for you. And so you take the time, you explore the breath, you explore the fluidity that is you. Okay. When we're done and we all can say hi to Robin's cute grandbaby, she's got this cute little jumper on that's got a flower or a butterfly or something on her butt. When you see her crawl away, all you see is this big pink flower thing. It's very adorable. And then when you are complete, or however you feel for this moment, start to make your way to your final resting pose. And so that might be Shavasana, might be Supta Baddha Konasana. You might want to do legs up the wall. You choose whatever feels most appropriate for you, what feels most nurturing for you. And then once you've settled into your shape, no rush, I want you to really settle into your shape. So if you need to like move around or fidget around so your right side feels as connected to the earth as your left side, by all means, go ahead and do that. And then we'll complete our practice by just finding our breath. Let's go ahead and exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big breath in. Another big audible breath out. Two more big breaths in. Last one. This time, take a big breath in. The top of your inhalation, hold the breath for just a count or two, and then a big breath out. Two more times, just like that. Taking a deep breath in, top of your inhalation, holding the breath for a beat or two, and then a big audible exhale all the way to the depths, letting the belly fall all the way to the spine. Last time, big deep breath in, holding it at the top, and then when you're ready, exhaling and letting it go. This time, you'll take a deep breath in. At the top of your inhalation, you'll hold the breath and then you'll sip in just a little bit more air and then exhale and let it all go. And you'll do that two more times on your own. So taking a deep breath in, top of your inhalation, you hold the breath. See if you can sip in just a little bit more breath. And then exhale, letting it all go. And very last time, big breath in. Top of your inhalation, holding the breath, sipping in just a bit more, and then exhaling, releasing it all. From here, allow the breath to fall into its involuntary rhythm. So you may keep your awareness on the abdomen. You may keep it in the nose or the chest, wherever the breath feels the easiest for you to connect with. Just let your awareness rest on that part of your body, and you just watch it as it comes in and as it goes away. And anytime the mind wanders, simply notice that, celebrate that, and then come back to watching your breath, watching the wave that happens just naturally. And I'll leave you here with you for a few moments on your own. Return your awareness to your breath. As you come back to your breath, just take a moment to check in. Notice if there's any part of you longing to linger right where you are. And if so, by all means, please stay here. When you do feel the call, the pull, draw of movement, you'll allow it to come into the physical form in whatever soft, gentle, fluid way it wishes to enter. That movement might gradually become bigger. You might find that it turns into a full body stretch or yawn, and it might not, and that's okay too. Those that are in stillness, stay as long as you'd like. Those that are in movement, you'll start to make your way to one of your sides and you'll pause there on a side, just taking in a few breaths. From your side, you'll roll your chest more towards the floor. You'll use your top hand to press your chest up to vertical. And then once you are vertical, I do encourage you to take the opportunity to elevate your bum on a block or a blanket. And when you are vertical, I do encourage you to also notice what little movements you need to take so it feels like you can sit. So if that's the rolling of the shoulders, that's dropping of one ear to the other ear, that's opening and closing your mouth and yawning a few times. You notice. And then once you feel like you've kind of gotten things sort of worked out, you'll find yourself to a still neutral spot. And we can either have our hands facing up or your hands facing down. If you feel like you need inspiration, hands are up. If you feel like you need grounding, palms face down. But we'll just allow ourselves in these last few breath cycles together to just settle into the posture and see what that feels like, where you can soften any unnecessary tension in the body. And then we'll just take about, I don't know, 10 breath cycles here. Your only focus is on the exhale. Inhale comes, but you just ride the exhale. Noticing where you can continue to soften in the body. Yeah. How you can continue to just let the mind rest on the exhale. As challenging as it is for me to do at times, I do honestly believe that the more we can let go and ride the waves of life, however it presents itself to us moment by moment, breath by breath, we will find more of our own capacities for joy, more of our own strength, more of our own resilience. Doesn't mean it's always fun or easy. And the fun thing is everyone else is doing it as well in their own way. And the more that we can remind ourselves that we are not alone in that, perhaps the easier it becomes. As you take these last few breath cycles here, really allow the exhale to just carry your awareness Let go of whatever might prevent you from trusting the waves of your own life and the lives of those you love. We'll go ahead and complete our practice with a collective breath, followed by a collective Om. Bring your hands to heart center Anjali Mudra. Press the palms into each other. Really receive the weight of your thumb into your sternum and then push your sternum into your thumb. Gently soften and exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big breath in. Audible breath out. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. Om. Draw your thumbs to your third eye. May our thoughts be clear. Draw your thumbs to your lips. May our words be kind. And draw your thumbs to your heart center. May our hearts be open. The light within me, the breath and the waves within me, honor and salute the light, the breath, and the waves within each of you. Namaste.